Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Today we're reviewing the book of Star Wars. I mean the book of Tatooine. I mean the book of Mandalorian 2.5. I mean the book of Boba Fett. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. This show could fall into so many titles. But that just goes to show how confused this is. So let's begin. Where do we even begin with this show? I guess let's start with the concept. This show is focusing on Boba Fett, the great bounty hunter Mandalorian we all knew from what's this? From Return of the Jedi. Well, I mean the original trilogy. He was there in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and we got to see young him in Clone Wars and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So hey, it's we at least get to know something about him. Now, this movie tries to show us. This show tries to show us a different side to Boba. Is there more to him than just the Mandalorian under the mask? And well, that's what this show is about. We get to see Boba as a character and what he does. So yeah. Now, let's move on to the rest of the stuff. I'm not going to explain this show in linear form because this show is a very confused show that's all over the place and it shows. So I'm just going to be talking about what I like, what I don't like, and the stuff in the middle. Go old school me. So where do I begin? Let's start with the stuff I do like. I do think the first two episodes were really good. I really liked the way they were shot, the way they were filmed. It looked really good, especially for like a TV show. They looked great. And I really love the flashback sequences with Mando and the Tusken Raiders. Boba and the Tusken Raiders, where he learns to grow with them. We get to see him get out of the Sarlacc pit, and he spends the next 5 years of his life spent with the Tusken Raiders. And it is 5 years because immediately after the Tuskens are killed, he goes to find his ship, and then he kills the biker gang, and then he meets up with Mando. So we do know it's been 5 years since Return of the Jedi. And I really like that. I really like how we got to see his journey getting out of the Sarlacc pit, getting attacked by the Jawas, and then he ends up with the Sand people. I really like that story. Episode 3, though, was focusing more on the real life stuff, like more in the stuff in the present, and I was like, okay, it's fine. But like the present story just was not as interesting as the flashback story. I'm gonna say it now. The story with Boba and the Tusken Raiders was far more cooler than the present story where he's fighting like the Pikes. And yeah, that's where the series started going a bit weird with Mando and the Pikes in like some crime syndicate war. It's weird. The first two episodes were shot like this crazy Western story. Then the rest is like, eh. And then, I guess, since we're on the topic of things I liked, I really did like the introduction of the Mandalorian, or as we know him, Din Djarin, coming back in his own episode, Return of the Mandalorian. I really like how we got that whole episode dedicated to him, and I was like, this is a nice, strong start. This is where I would envision Season 2 ending. And by the way, this show is also a continuation of The Mandalorian, in case you didn't know. So in case you finished Season 2 and you're waiting for Season 3, I advise you see a couple episodes from this show first before you watch Season 3, because you're going to be hella confused going into Season 3. And this show, I really liked how Mando was brought back in, how we get to see how he's dealing with life after losing Grogu, and then we get to see his bounty hunterness and how he needs to go back to what do you call it? To Mandalore to regain his Mandalorian name. So I really like that. And this could have all been fine, honestly. Like, it would have been fine if Episode 6 didn't happen. Episode 6 is where this show is at its lowest point, if you ask me. Like, that's where you can tell there is a decrease in quality. Don't get me wrong. Episode 6 was amazing. I loved it. I loved seeing young Luke. And people who complain about the CGI face, I don't freaking care. I loved seeing young Luke. I loved seeing Grogu train to be a Jedi, or at least remember his time as a Jedi with Order 66 and the live action clones. I loved seeing Ahsoka, and the fact that Ahsoka and Luke meet, that just awoke the fangirl in me. And I honestly really wish, the only thing that this show missed was the introduction, or at least the introduction between Ahsoka and Luke. I really wish we could have gotten that first encounter, them just chatting, talking about Anakin. I honestly think we could have gotten that scene, and it will come either in the Ahsoka show that's coming out or in the Mandalorian Season 3. Either way, I love the meetup between the two, and I wish we get some sort of episode, like spin-off episode or special, where we just get to see these two talk. Ahsoka talks about Anakin and the days of the Old Republic. Luke talks about his crazy adventures and how he wants to rebuild the Order. But as of now, just seeing them in the same area together, talking to each other. Oh, that was amazing. Episode 7 was a fun finale, I would say. We get to see the Rancor, Boba riding a Rancor. We get to see what's this, Baby Yoda come back. We even get Cad Bane. Cad Bane shows up in this show like in episode 5. 5, 6, I think. He really doesn't do much in the show. He's kind of like a whatever character. But if you know who Cad Bane is, like if you know him from the other Star Wars shows, you were hyped. You're like, oh my god, he's back. He's back. And though I am kind of mixed on his character, for one, I really do wish they introduced him earlier so we can get more of a feel of his character. But at the same time, I was very happy enough seeing him because I already know who this guy is. And by the way, anytime I see a bounty hunter in future, I always wanted to have Cad Bane's voice. This dude is the best. Oh my gosh. And the effects he has in this show, amazing. So many people are like, oh, he should have been a darker blue. Oh, he should have looked more like his series counterpart. Bro, when he was born, he was animated. The fact that they were able to bring him into live action looking like this, you gotta give him some respect. I feel like they brought Cad Bane out into like live action perfectly. I also love how well, not love, but I find it funny how what's this chick, the person Ming Na Wen plays, Fennec, that's right, Fennec Shand. I really love how Fennec Shand is like not old at all. Like, trust me, she was there from like, she was a bounty hunter from like Revenge of the Sith, at least from that time period moving onwards. And she even kidnapped Omega once. And I'm like, you're not gonna tell Boba he has a twin sister out there? I mean, I guess it doesn't want to spoil the fact that there is, that the Bad Batch is existing, or like it went on past season 2, but like, I feel like this could have been good information, you know, considering this is Boba we're dealing with. I also like, again, Boba's backstory. We get to see him on the water planet. Oh, God. Not Kashyyyk. What's it called? God damn it. What's the water planet called? Well, the clones came from. And then on Geonosis. And I really like that. I really like that. Now let's get into the stuff I didn't like. For one, Boba. Yeah, you know, for a show called The Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett. We get very little Boba in this show. In the first 2 episodes, we get to see a lot of his character, about how he was first a brash, killer, bounty hunter, and then we see him become more of a tribalist, someone whose heart is on the planet. You know, we get to see that conversion to a good guy. But here's the thing. That conversion happened way too fast. And even the show calls him out on it, especially with Cad Bane. They call out Boba being such a hippie or such a soft guy. Out of nowhere, his character change was way too fast, honestly. Like, if we're going from sick bounty hunter to like a good guy dude who will protect his home, but he's still a crime lord, we should have had that. We should have had that change from villain to anti-hero, or anti-villain to anti-hero. I don't know. We really should have had that change be more gradual. But I don't know why this show felt the need to rush it. When he was with the Tuscans, it was fine. It was gradual, but then they die, and then he freaking joins Mando, and then boom, he's a good guy. He kills Bib Fortuna, and he becomes a new crime lord. And I'm like, and then he kills Cad Bane, and then he's like, yeah, I'm not ruling the crime syndicate, you know, I'm a good guy. I want to rule people with respect. It just seemed so out of nowhere. And it doesn't help that we don't even get to see more of Boba's character. Like, assuming that it wasn't even rushed, he's not even on screen for like half the show. In episode 5, mind you, this season is like 7 episodes long. In episode 5 and 6, he's straight up not in the show at all. He is not in it. We focus on Mando and his adventures. And that's why I was saying episode 6 is a detriment to this show. Because while I love it based on like a Star Wars fan stand, I hate it because it adds more lore to The Mandalorian instead of Boba Fett. And by adding more lore to The Mandalorian, if you go to watch season 3 of The Mandalorian without watching this, you will be confused. And this show just doesn't seem to care. I swear to God. And that's another thing, is that Boba is not the main character. As much as this is his show, he is not only not on screen, gets a poor character development, but the show doesn't even focus on him half the time. Imagine your main character is sidelined in his own show. That is freaking embarrassing. I feel bad for Temuera Morrison. Not really. Temuera Morrison's living a high life. He gets to voice all the clones, play all of them, play Boba, play Django, play whatever clone he wants. This good dude's living the high life. But I feel bad for his character, and to an extent him, because he's not in the show as much as he should have been. He gets top billing, but that's about it. And that's the thing, is that this show isn't really Boba Fett. It's Star Wars. This is a Star Wars show. It fails as a character show, or at the very least, it fails as a Boba Fett show, but it succeeds as a Star Wars show. There's so many Star Wars properties this show tries to bring, and Honestly, it's a bit too ambitious. It's pulling in things from all over the Star Wars like universe, from the prequels to the originals to the sequels. It's trying to like shove it all into 7 episodes, and I don't think that works. Especially for like a show like this, stuffing in so much Star Wars content and lore into this not only shows that you had very little content to work with or very little story to work with, but you are really trying to appease the fans so that they can say this is a good show. And while I love all the fan service this show gets, it doesn't deliver that fan service well, or at the very least there's not a good story siding with it, and that's what I hate about this show. I hate that Boba isn't his own character, or at the very least the character we get just isn't a good representation of it. We didn't get to see that change happen naturally. I hate the fact that he sidelighted his own show. I hate the fact that when we get all this cool Star Wars stuff, we don't get, it doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like, yeah, this is why I'm watching this show, for the Star Wars stuff. No, we were promised Boba Fett and we expected Boba Fett. We went in with low expectations, and when you give us stuff like this, you make us very confused on what to feel. I'm not saying Disney shouldn't do fan service. By all means, please do as much Star Wars fan service as you want, but you gotta make it earned. And that's another thing. Cad Bane, oh my god, this dude came in episode 6, 5, 6 around there, and I was stoked to see him. But then he dies in episode 7. Don't get me wrong, I was kind of anticipating for Cad Bane to die. I feel like he's a character who's been around for like such a long time, and seeing him die in a meaningful way, probably going toe-to-toe with Boba, would have been cool, or going toe-to-toe with a Jedi, just to see how cool this non-Force user bounty hunter is. So I was expecting him to die. I was fine with him dying. But the way he died is what bothered me. Boba stabs him in the middle of the chest and then dips. It just felt so anticlimactic and just so underwhelming. I did not enjoy how this guy was taken out. Now, it is theorized that at the end of the episode, his beeper turned on, as if that's either his heartbeat pumping or he's calling his ship to come pick him up. So he probably will not be dead. But that kind of takes away from the point. It kind of just makes death a non-factor in Star Wars. Seriously, like, no one dies in this universe. I'm not even kidding. Because, like, when we think about the villains, Darth Maul comes back, but they take time to explain how he came back. We get reasons as to how he came back. That's fine. But then freaking Palpatine dies, and he just comes back, and we're like, okay, I guess we have to accept it. And there was another Star Wars character who died, and then they come back, and we're like, what the heck? So if death is such a non-factor in Star Wars, why is it always a threat here? Because now, if Cad Bane truly is alive, I'm excited for him to come back. Maybe he'll get a more meaningful death, but at the same time, it just takes away from the ending. Like, what the heck? And of course, Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, has taken over this show. Now, of course, he has to take over this show because everyone loves the Mandalorian, and we all expected this coming. I just find it so weird and just so funny as to how he just took over this entire show. And honestly, his presence makes the show suffer even more. Because with him existing, or him being around here, and he's taking over the show, this show isn't Book of Boba Fett. It's the Book of Mandalorian 2.5, or Mandalorian Season 2.5. It is so dumb. So yeah, this show fails in the character department. It succeeds in the fan service department, and its story is weak as hell. I did not care for the Pike story. I like the Pikes. I like them as a crime syndicate. But if you wanted to make a crime syndicate show, you should have really brought in all the crime syndicates. Bring in Crimson Dawn, Black Sun, the Pikes. Everyone should come here and fight this war. I'm not against gang wars or like crime syndicate wars, but you gotta give it your all. You gotta bring in everything at once. Have Boba go against Black Sun, go against the Pikes, go against Crimson Dawn, go against, I think Darth Maul was Crimson Dawn, I don't know. Have just everyone go at it, and we all fight on Tatooine. And that's another thing. People were actually complaining that the Star Wars shows are leaning way too heavily on Tatooine. Like, they're relying way too much on this planet, which is true. Like, almost every Star Wars movie and show always comes back to Tatooine. Like, we always come back to Tatooine. We get it, it's the planet that started it all, but like, I don't mind it. I don't mind coming back to Tatooine every now and again. It's way better than Jakku. But seriously, I really don't mind Tatooine, and I don't mind visiting it every chance the writers get. I don't mind it at all. But what I do find funny is that people are complaining about it, because we visited Tatooine in The Mandalorian, we visited it in Boba Fett, and what's even funnier is that we're not visiting in Kenobi. The whole Kenobi show is going to take place on Tatooine, because like, where else would it take place? And that's the thing, is that right after the finale of The Mandalorian aired, Disney announced the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it's coming out on May 25th. I am very excited for that. I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I'm not mad it takes place on Tatooine. I'm just not. You can't make me angry about that. But yeah, if I'm excited for another show and I'm completely forgetting about this one, you know there's a problem. So in the end, the book of Star Wars is a mess. It has not structured itself properly. It doesn't know how to pace itself right. The character arcs are way too short or way too rushed, And the first 2 episodes were really good, and then the rest of the episodes were fine. Like, I liked episode 5 and 6 a lot. I liked episode 7. I loved 5 and 6. Episode 7 was fine, but I don't remember 3 and 4, honestly. Like, to save my life, I cannot remember 3 and 4. The story is constantly changing. The writing is good, and okay, let me just name the positives and the negatives just to get it out there. The characters, for what they are worth, they are good when they show up, but the way they're written is not good. I do not like how every character is written, and I do not like how they are handled. I do think they're given good lines to deal with, and I do like the occasional cameo, like Luke and Ahsoka. But with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand or Chrysanthemum, or the biker gang, what the hell is up with those speeder bikes? I'm sorry, let me just take a minute to talk about those. We have like this British group on Tatooine who is like a biker gang. Why do their bikes look like that? Why are they so color-coded and ridey like that? Why? They look like they came from a 50s show. Why? This looks like something on Disney Channel. And that car chase at the end of the episode, I felt my soul leave my body. That was so bad. That was legit bad. The biker gang is honestly the worst thing about this show. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, so the characters could have been better. It's a gamble, really. The cameos are there. When a character comes up as a cameo, that's when the show is at its best. When we're dealing with cameo characters, it's at its best. Like with Mando, Luke, and Ahsoka, Baby Yoda, it's at its best. When we're dealing with main characters, it's an issue. The writing is good. I do think there's not a lot of cringy writing here. However, I do feel like the events written out in this show are a bit weird. And the story keeps changing. The story is weak, and when it's not weak or focused on Boba, it keeps changing elements, and it's just so unfocused. And the structure of the show is very unfocused, very poorly planned out. And honestly, if this were like a Jenga tower, it would have fallen off on the first move. This show is not put together properly because the events of the stories all happen weirdly. And on top of that, the pacing is just not good. On the things I did like, I like the visuals, I like the effects. For a TV show, this looks really good. I like the cameo characters, I love the fan service, and the finale was kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. Anything else? Not really. I'm just waiting for Mandalorian season 3 and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, I'm not a hard person to please, but this show definitely needs some work. I kind of hope it doesn't get a season 2, but given how it's so wishy-washy, it probably won't. But this is Disney; they can do anything they want. So I'm not ruling out the option of a season 2. In the end, the Book of Boba Fett, Book of Star Wars, Book of Mandalorian season 2 is a mess, much like how this review was a mess, because I clearly cannot know what to talk about first or name what is a positive and a negative, because this show has made me so confused. Do I say you go and watch it? Well, if you want to look at a nice character dive of a show, like if you want to see a deep character dive of Boba Fett, and you're expecting like the bad A bounty hunter Boba Fett, no, do not watch this show. You'll be severely disappointed. And even if you want to see like an entirely new character like grow into his own, you'll also be disappointed. So I don't watch this show for the characters. If you want to watch it for the fan service and as a sort of and you want to watch this show as just an advertisement for the Mandalorian season 3, go ahead, watch it. There's a lot of fan service. You will not get disappointed. Disney at least knew how to handle it. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the future of Star Wars. These two are the only ones we can depend on, because yeah, boy, Star Wars is a mess. I tell you, it is a mess. It's not a bad mess, but it's a mess. It's one weird mess. And yeah, again, the actors do fine here. I don't mind the actors. The actors did a great job here. Tamura Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, great actors, great leads. Of course, they got what's his name? The guy who plays Din. Gosh, they got him back. Really love it. Yeah, there's a lot to love in this show, and a lot to hate. Honestly, I can't give this show a high score, so I think just because I'm feeling good today and I'm trying to see the bright side of this show, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Alright? I'm being more generous than most Star Wars fans or TV show critics. So the Book of Boba Fett, it was a mess, a big mess, and we did not get what we wanted from it, but we did walk away. But we didn't walk away fully disappointed. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I've been Captain Phoenix. Thank you again for just watching my videos, having fun with them. Be sure to like if you like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be part of the team. Go check out my tall girl video. That one is a way better review. And yeah, let's hope for Mandalorian season 3. This year I know we're getting Bad Batch season 2 and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, so I'm excited for those two. Please let them be good, Disney. Please let them be good. Alright, then that's gonna do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Captain Phoenix, and with that, I will see you in another universe. Goodbye, my Rangers.